Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here. Back with another video. Sorry it took ages to go live then. Hope you can hear my voice clearly enough. I know some people are saying my voice isn't very clear. I know I'm a bit effeminate with my voice, just generally. But anyway, obviously I'm back at you with part 2 of my ideas for empowering Indigenous people of the Americas. And I specifically say Indigenous people of the Americas, as I said before, because I'm not sure what the term Indigenous actually means, the actual definition, but I think everyone's probably Indigenous. Pretty much everyone's Indigenous to somewhere, as I've said before, like, except for maybe mutts like myself. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to try and talk about, I'm going to talk about and do the best job I can do talking about Indigenous people of the Americas empowerment. So anyway, here goes. So yeah, carrying on from my list, as I said, part 1 was including 10 ideas I had, so I'm going on from point 11 till point 20. So here goes. So number 11, because today is a Wednesday and it's the last day of September, in which case it's the last day I'm going to be focusing on empowering Indigenous people of the Americas this year. I hope to empower especially women in America because of my alliterations and things like that. I think especially women who have been treated quite badly, or have had a rough deal, possibly, and I've heard that a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of Indigenous women from the Americas have got, especially Canada and America. I don't know about other parts of the Americas, but they've gone missing, and many have been abducted, and many face violence and other unfortunate events. So I think it'd be great to empower women from the Indigenous communities of the Americas, and I'd love to do so, as well as what I call the 4 generally, and women of colour in particular around the world, as I said before. But I'll say this month I'm focusing on, and also July and August, which including next year. Sorry, I try not to waffle too much. I'm focusing on Indigenous people from the Americas specifically, but also like women of colour generally, adding in there to. So whatever I do for one group, I can perhaps come up with those same ideas, or those ideas could also be applied to the other groups. But yeah, so basically getting to the point, I would love to support Indigenous women from the Americas to become inventors, and also to be empowered in STEM, science, tech, engineering, and maths, and things like that, and also entrepreneurship, business, politics, and other such fields. Number 12, I'd love to do that for Indigenous people from the Americas generally, especially young people, and particularly young girls, to learn for the future. And I'd love to share as many videos from YouTube on my Facebook as possible about Indigenous women entrepreneurs of the Americas and things like that, which I've been looking at. And I found there's quite a few good, interesting YouTube videos, and also if you go onto Google. So I encourage you please check those out yourself as well. Like if you want to empower Indigenous people, including women, or especially women from the Americas, like please check out Google and YouTube, and like type in like Indigenous women entrepreneurs of the Americas or things like that. I'd also love to support them in other areas like writing, art, poetry, and all sorts of fields, as I say, politics, any area where they could be empowered, music, singing, dancing, and whatever else could help them to be empowered, both financially / economically and emotionally as well. Number 13, as I've often said, I love them to be able to write their own stories about either from their own personal imagination or from their cultures, like creepypastas, urban legends, creepypastas / urban legends, cryptids, superstitions they have. I'm not a big fan of superstitions myself, but I think they probably could make interesting stories, and maybe could be made into books and even films, movies, whatever you call them, where hopefully the Indigenous people of the Americas, both male and female, and also of all ages, excuse me, will benefit from those things. Number 14, I would love to help encourage people, both men and women, possibly of all ages, to serve the Indigenous communities of the Americas by trying to help them to solve problems and become writers, as I say, poets, artists, writers / authors, artists, poets, musicians, business people, entrepreneurs, whichever you want to call it, fempreneurs, mompreneurs, and things like that, which could also mean they can empower their children as well. So I think that would be great. Number 15, again, I'd love to from well, I started this year, but hopefully from next year as well. Hopefully I'll learn whatever I can from this year, and hopefully I'll apply that what I've learned and whatever ideas I've come up with and do a better job next year. And from next year onwards, all being well, if God gives me the opportunity, depending on what you believe in. But all being well, I will focus on in July, at least some of August and September next year, especially to continue to do what I've started this year in terms of talking about Indigenous empowerment and like sharing links for YouTube videos and encouraging people to support Indigenous people in the Americas. And hopefully I'll encourage as many people as possible to support them, and also like listen to them and support their aspirations and goals and objectives or whatever, and that sort of thing. Again, I think one of the biggest things is to listen to Indigenous people in the Americas, listen to what their problems are, what their goals are, dreams, and how they would love to be helped. So I think that would be a really good thing. Number 16. In the past, I used to think I'm the only one with ideas, or I've got special ideas, but I'm sure obviously many people have got ideas as well, and hopefully I'll listen to them and maybe things I haven't thought about. But again, people with experience in, like for instance, someone who set up their own business and actually put it from idea to action and actually created that business and took it forward is going to know more about how to support Indigenous people in business than I am. So I'd love to hear from other people about what ideas they have, and also like what experiences they could go into these communities, into reservations maybe, and teach children or adults about business or things like that. And as I said before, like they could be like teach for Indigenous people of the Americas, where people go into their communities and teach them skills that will hopefully help them in the future, whether that's like STEM, as I say, or inventing things or having the confidence. And also like Indigenous people could also, say for instance, an Indigenous person or Indigenous people who are already inventors, go and teach other people to become inventors, or those who have done well in STEM, or those who have left the reservation, gone to like places like, maybe even if any Indigenous people have gone to places like Harvard or places like that and learned lots of things and done well for themselves, they can go and help other people in the reservation say what they could do. So basically to have role models as well and mentors. Number 17, hopefully if I get around to it today, I'll talk about things I've learned, or I think I've learned, which is not a huge amount, but hopefully in the future I'll learn a lot more from Indigenous people and learn to listen to them. And also in the future, hopefully maybe next year or in July if I can, possibly August and stroke or September, I'd love to visit as many parts of the Americas as possible, like, and go to Indigenous communities and support them to have their own tourism industry and things like that. But also like talk about basically listening to their ideas as well, maybe discussing ideas and seeing how I could help them in the future maybe, and also maybe other people coming along with me who might again have more ideas and experience and things like that, and also more funding behind them as well. 18, on that note, I'd love to encourage charities, NGOs, governments, and so on and so forth around the world to support Indigenous people and listen to their problems, as I say, and look at how to help them in the future, and again what key skills they're going to need and how they can develop those key skills in the future. And number 19, I'd love to support them as much as possible politically, as I said before. And like people, I was thinking, like, imagine if, funny enough, these people are actually dyslexic as well, which I think by coincidence. But people like David, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his surname right, but David Boies or something like that, and Erin Brockovich, who the film, which I cannot remember, is based on, who are quite successful lawyers, could also like perhaps represent, or people like them could represent Indigenous people from the Americas in terms of law, politics and things like that, maybe take up their case, obviously if they're interested in doing so, but maybe sharing the idea with them, maybe they might think that's a good idea and go for it. And number 20, again, I'd love to empower Indigenous girls and boys from the Americas to learn about business, set up their own lemonade stalls, or sell Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or maybe even like how sell a range of things from a young age and learn how to create a little shop and learn how to budget and about profit and loss and whatever else, how to create their own business plans. And also maybe they could have excuse me, a healthy section as well. Many people are thinking about eating and drinking healthily. They could have like things where they sell water, fruit, veg, and other such things, and also like sell their own sell their own sort of produce, Indigenous produce of the Americas as well. So anyway, I hope I wasn't waffling too much, and as ever, I'd love to hear what you think, and I am out. Peace and love.